It's about 10,000 victims of the spillage of the Akosombo Dam in North Tongu constituency are still living in tents and other makeshift structures 5 months after devastating flooding. This according to Member of Parliament for the area, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, who has facilitated the construction of 2 alternative housing schemes to house up to 600 people. Former President John Dramani Mahama, who's backing the parliamentary probe into the spillage, says government has been insensitive to the plight of the victims. Kwekwa Sante has the rest of the story from Epe.
It's been 5 months since the floodgates of the Akosombo Dam was opened, leaving in its wake devastation never seen in decades. So many people reduced to living in tents with their entire livelihoods wiped off. With the water now receded and the people trying to build back their lives, so much help is still needed. For now, the focus of MP for North Tongu, one of the worst affected constituencies, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa and his partners, is to relocate as many of the victims as possible and resettle them in decent accommodations. The MP has now opened the second alternative housing project to house at least 300 families.
We have been able to mobilize those resources and put together this second housing project, which we are calling the North Tongu MP and Partners Safe Alternative Housing Initiative. From tonight, 300 people who are living in refugee-like tents in Degome, in Agbetiko, in Aveime, in Dofwadidoma, in Fojoku. From tonight, they can have access to decent, modern accommodation, and they can have their dignity restored.
The MP says it is unacceptable that government is failing to live up to its responsibilities.
Waiting for the central government to commence the construction of resettlement homes. How long are people going to be living like refugees in their own country, in their own hometown? How long? How long are we going to be living in tents? Very soon, the rainy season will be upon us. Those tents cannot save us. So His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Vice President Alhaji Mahmudu Bawumia remember your oath of office.
Former President John Dramani Mahama, who is backing the parliamentary probe into the spillage of the Akosombo Dam, is also accusing government of turning a blind eye to the plight of the victims.
I urge the Speaker of Parliament, after he ruled that there should be a public inquiry, I urge him to go ahead and set up the committee, so that a bipartisan committee, so that they can hold a public inquiry. This inquiry must be televised so that the whole of Ghana can see it transparently, in order that we know exactly what happened, so that it will not be repeated again. Let me appeal to the President, Nana Akufo-Addo, and his Vice President, Dr. Mahmudu Bawumia, to be more responsive and sensitive to the plight of the victims of the Akosombo Dam Spillage, and immediately get to work to commence resettling the victims. The insensitivity of government to the plight of these victims is unacceptable.
Chiefs in the area are helpless and furious.
The Volta Regional House of Chiefs is calling on government and VRA for a complete resettlement of the impacted communities that suffered as a result of what VRA did to us.
More than 10,000 persons still have to be relocated to be moved away from shelters like these, which have been described as inhumane.
The main challenge we have now is accommodation. Like, we need proper structure. The tent, if you enter in the morning, you feel comfortable, but during the afternoon, there's so much heat, so you can't even stay in it. Yes, and even if it rains, last time it rained, The whole place was so disorganized.
But at least while these people wait for their government to come to their aid after budgeting more than 200 million cedis, Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa and his partners are doing their bit to help ameliorate the suffering of the people and put them back to living decent lives. Reporting for Joy News, Kweku Asante, Mefe, North Tongu, Voter.